I said, plug me in. I got stuff to talk about, damn it. I'll crawl out of my earbuds once a week to give you a show. That's what I do, folks. I do this show for the common man, for the people in despair. I bring this show into the world and I sell it everywhere. The simple truth lies waiting here, folks, for all of you to share. Hold on, I will take you there. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-year-old boy podcast. Ow. I can tell you right now, Jill is making fun of me because I say ow all the time. It's just like a declaration or an exclamation if I'm walking and if like my knee will snap or although that sounds like an ow, right? You should make an ow when your knee snaps, right? But it doesn't really snap. It's just that thing where like this. Listen, that's me like cracking my knuckles. Or cracking one knuckle. That was just one knuckle. That was a weak effort. Later on, I'll try to crack all my knuckles for you. That's what this new medium is for. Hey, listen to me crack my knuckles, folks. Oh my God. Later on, we'll yawn. Oh, fuck that. You guys took care of that 5 minutes ago when the show started. So I feel weird. All right, here's why. I'm sick, man. Like I am like sick, and I got sick yesterday, and I kind of powered through it. So I'm here. And I got lucky because I didn't go full-blown sick. And usually when I'm here, it's poor Lily. Our friend Lily Von Stupp is the producer of the show. And she's got to put up with my nonsense. And she's in great pain sometimes with her knee or her hip or her back sometimes. You're saying something. I don't know what you're doing. You're mouthing? All the time. Well, I know, but then when I say I go to talk about it, and you're like, "Don't tell people about me," and that's become a disconnect with the show this year, folks. I'll start to talk about something, and Lily's like, "Well, not everything is for everyone to know," and I'm like, "Where have you been for 7 years?" I mean, literally, I have talked about everything that happened in the moment when it happened, and she's like, "Shut up," and then she takes her fucking Sharpie and furiously scribbles a name for the show on a legal pad that will never see the light of day. All right. So yesterday I woke up. Here's the thing, folks. It's Thanksgiving week. As you know, it is Black Friday Eve. So as you're hearing this, it is Thanksgiving. And what's that? It smells like Thursday. But for me, for me, it will smell like Thursday early. But then because last year, let's talk about last year's Thanksgiving for just a second, folks. You know what I did? I sat in a dark apartment and did nothing at all. Zero, zip. I was on the internet and I think I may have had candy. I think possibly. It doesn't sound like me. But I was not, because I was not scooped up orphan style as people's want to do with people who have nobody or nowhere to go. And there were no invitations forthcoming last year. No one tried to scoop me up. I don't. Hold on a second.
We invited you to Hobo Thanksgiving last year, and you're invited this year as well.
I'm sorry. To where?
Hobo Thanksgiving in the park.
Well, here's the disconnect there, certainly in that invitation. And thank you. I'm glad you thought of me. I'm not a hobo.
Yes,
so it turns out, well, certainly I'm closer than I want to be. I don't think there's much doubt about that. But look, I love you and your friends, and everybody's terrific. And there's nothing better than eating cold mashed potatoes on a park bench. But I got to be honest with you, oh, yes, they are.
No, they are.
I went to Hobo Thanksgiving once, and it was so exciting and terrific and hobofied, and we all had fingerless gloves, and we smeared burnt cork on our faces, and then we went and got quarters from people in the park. I did. Perhaps I'm doing it incorrectly. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because I did. I smeared burnt cork on my face, and I went and panhandled for 2.5 hours in the park.
You did not.
I did. And I gave thanks because I came home with $8.11 and a mouthful of cold mashed potatoes. And because I did. I walked around with, as you knew, I had sackcloth and ashes. And I had a bowler that was distressed, which I only know because we were clown friends and all their nonsense talking about how to distress your bowler. Like I literally, to me, how do you distress your bowler? You don't rent them shoes. That's how you distress a bowler. That's the only thing I would think of when you say, how do you distress a bowler? You tell them that the snack bar is out of fried everything. I mean, honestly, that's truly, you tell him he can't smoke an entire pack of cigarettes during the game. That's how you distress a bowler. How is bowling still around? It's fucking terrible. Jesus Christ. It always sounds like vaguely fun. Like I did a show. I was at what was it? Was it Funny Money or no? It was Starface, dude. It was look. I have never worked on a quality production in my fucking life, and that includes this fucking podcast. And this is my fault. I can't complain to anybody but me here. I'm not because I'm running the show. This is my production. So if it's lackluster or subpar, it is all on my shoulders. But other shows I've worked on and other places I've been, let me tell you something. Just Starface was a show I wrote on, and it was me and Danielle Koenig, Matt Weinhold, Kevin Sesha. And you know what's funny is I don't even think like Kevin Sesha wants me to tell people that he wrote on that show. I don't think he would use it as a credit because he's like an acclaimed author now, and he's funny and he's like awesome, and he's on Twitter. He's beloved. And if I was like, hey, you remember when you were on Starface with Danny Bonaducci? He would probably unfollow me. Like he would close his Twitter account. He may leap from a building in Brooklyn and land in a very cool splat. I don't know. But so anyway, with that show, when it worked, we did the show and we had fun, and then they had a rap party to toast ourselves and look forward to the many seasons of Starface that were to come. When the Game Show Network went, I'm sorry, we can't do that. We're green lighting Guess Which Hand, so we can't possibly. We couldn't renew your show if we wanted to. We're greenlighting Which Pocket. That's what we're greenlighting. So I'm there, and Starface has their rap party at a bowling alley. Like I don't even.
Was it the Lucky Strike?
I no, it was like fancy. It wasn't Universal because Universal's fancy. And then there's that one in Hollywood right here by your house that's fancy. No, not by your house. Don't look. Don't Google.
Was it at what the fuck is the one?
It's in Burbank, I think. I don't remember.
Moonlight?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. It was just that thing where it was like you walk in and there's that illusion. Because again, even a nice bowling alley is still terrible. I mean, look, I'm honestly, I'm willing to bet the Nazis used new trains when they were moving people from death camp to death camp. Doesn't make it a nice train. Even your nicest bowling alley is a haven of scum and villainy. I mean, nobody wants to go there, ever. Scum and villainy. That made me laugh. All right. But I went there. We went there for the rap party, and it's like, and dude, and you're like, I tell you this, nothing says successful television show like, hey, go ahead and spray this in my shoes. Seriously, that is the pinnacle of show business when you have to ask a unwashed guy behind a counter to give you shoes to use. Holy mackerel. What a fucking mess. Nothing says success like, I'm going to go ahead and bowl with the grips. Can you bring the crudité over here when you get a chance? Because God knows I like eating raw cauliflower while I'm throwing gutter balls. You know what? I showed up at that thing I dressed up. I remember dressing up. Because I still have the shirt because it was at the time I was like losing weight. You know, I had just started losing a lot of weight, and I have this shirt now, and it's too big on me. Like I can't even wear it. I never got a chance to wear this shirt and look good in it because it was like I breezed right past the window. I have no idea why or how, but it's a Calvin Klein button shirt, and it's white with stripes, but like they're like. It's color. Because that's, when you're fat, dude, you dress in black. That's it. It's like you're just Johnny Cash if Johnny Cash were one of the McGuire twins. Seriously, just those fat dudes on the motorcycles, those twins. You just dress in black and you hope. Because honestly, when you're fat, dude, you don't want to be noticed because all the people do is notice you and how fat you are. So you wear black hoping beyond hope people will think you're a chair. Like literally, that's all it is. I dress in dark clothing hoping nobody will notice the fact that I am not furniture. That's it. Just think that I'm furniture. That's it. That's all I want as a fat dude. I don't want to draw attention to myself. I was talking to Shannon this week, and she finally, my therapist, and she's finally asking about like being fat. And she's like, hey, because she didn't, again, I've been seeing her for months. And then finally she's like, wait, you weighed 500 pounds at one point? And I'm like, yeah, oh, we should probably talk about that, huh? And she's just like, maybe that'll get to the bottom of some stuff. You have to cleave through a bunch of fucking layers, but sure. But yeah, so I was trying to explain, and because again, I was fat. I got fat because I was eating fucking pain or whatever the fuck and trying to shove a bunch of stuff down and bury it under food and nonsense. And and it's so funny when you verbalize it. I've talked about this on here before, and Mex and I have had the same conversation. You live the life you live. You don't sit here and go, woe is me, boo hoo, I can't believe it. This happened. No, man, you just, hey, I was a kid and my dad fucking bailed and you know, I was fucking on welfare and food stamps and homeless and we lived in cars for a while and all this bullshit and that's just what happened. And then I grew up. And you know what? If you're still at 47 going, fuck, I can't believe I was homeless when I was 11. I mean, nobody fucking cares. You've had 36 years to rally, motherfucker. Grab bootstraps and fucking rally. God damn it. You wrote on a television show so successful, you got to eat raw cauliflower in a bowling alley. How could you possibly be down on your life? You're a success story like no other. Dude, you got to eat baby carrots covered in hand chalk. Oh my God. That's a successful writer. When you're choking that down. So I mean, that's just the fucking, that's what happens. I got fat and then I stopped being fat and I wanted to stop being fat. It happens, man. That's what happens. You just do it. And when people like bitch and moan about their lot in life and you're just like, look, hey, look, you know what? If you want to bitch and moan about your lot in life, go ahead. But just recognize that other people, they have the same thing going on, or if not worse. I mean, that's the thing is when you hear about your stuff and you verbalize it and stuff. And look, I'm just, like I said, I'm just a fat white guy. That's all it was. I mean, like, oh yeah, my dad died or whatever the fuck. And, you know, and then you see what's happening in the streets of Missouri and you see what's happening, you know, in fucking Africa and you see all these terrible people. I mean, dude, in Africa, if some dude was just like, oh, I can't believe my dad died when I was 11, you would get a machete in the face. Like literally, nobody would even want to have that discussion with you. They'd just be like, yeah, well, my entire village was killed by a disease. And then warring tribesmen came in and killed everybody again. Just because. Just because they wanted to get their fucking point across. They were pissed. The warring tribesmen showed up to kill all of us, found out that the village had already been laid low and killed by Ebola, and went, fuck this, we're killing everybody again. You can't steal our fucking kills. And they killed everybody a second time. I live in a village where everybody was killed twice. Once by natural causes and once by fucking machete wielding dudes. Tell me again about your dad. And look, I'm as self-involved as all of you. I will tell that guy about my dad if he asks. And I'll tell you what, pal, get a podcast. That's what I say to you, mythical African tribesman who I just made up, whose entire village was killed twice. Get a fucking podcast and have me as a guest. We'll talk about it. Actually, I got to be honest with you. Mythical African tribesman whose village has been killed twice has already been on Paul Gilmartin's podcast. Holy shit. I'd listen to Paul's show and it's just brutal because I didn't know my iPod could cry. I was like, my ears were wet. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, my earbuds are sobbing because of your horrible story. But you know, the thing is, his show runs the gamut anyway. Like because I was on it. And what did I talk about? My mean mom was angry and like my dad was dead. And so then the very next week, it's like this Iranian woman had to freeze herself in a block of ice and be smuggled out through 4 deserts. Each desert chipped away at the ice. She was hoping not to thaw before she got to Norway. What the fuck? Because she had to go out and fucking hold up her finger with ink on it to show that she voted once. What the hell? I have no idea how Paul finds these people. I can't even imagine that the guests on Paul's podcast. It just has to be a casting call like in The Producers. You know what I mean? Where it's just this stage full of misfits and you're trying to find out who's got the worst story of all. Oh, Christ. Yeah, I don't get it, man. How did I even spin off into that? I get no fucking idea. Starface, bowling alleys. Yeah, see, fuck, bowling alleys. You think he had it tough in Ferguson? Dude, if there's a bowling alley in Ferguson, how is that not the first thing they torched? Go to get in there. You want to really hurt the white man? Go ahead and torch the bowling alley. That'll hit him where he lives. Bowling alley in Missouri? That'll totally hit the white guy where he lives. Take it out. I need more nuanced debate on Facebook over what happened in Ferguson, please. I need more people to go ahead and step up and say, well, here's what I think. Yes, I'm glad you're telling me what you think. Everyone needs to be heard. Remember in the old days when you had to have some sort of credibility, to have some sort of voice? But no, now everyone has that fucking microphone. The entire Facebook is just this gigantic town hall meeting of assholes. It is so bad. I reconnected with a guy at my reunion. Well, I'll talk about my reunion. People always ask about my high school reunion, and People, it's so funny. I talk about something. People are like weeks later. They're like, "Dude, why have you not talked about this or talked about that?" Enough, by the way. Stop asking me about the Wendy's. All right, I cannot stress enough. Stop asking me about the Wendy's. As a guy named Jeff, and I think Megan also, and a Joan. There's people who write me on Facebook or in private, and they're like, well, "Dude, I got to know what happened at that Wendy's," and it's just like, no, you don't really. It's awful. Why should I just? Here's the thing. No matter what I say, it will not. It will not be big enough now. No matter what it is, you know what I mean? It's like I could have stumbled into a. First of all, I will tell you this. I didn't even know they had pinball machines in the men's room in Wendy's. Let me tell you that. That'll tell you a little bit about what I stumbled into. And even weirder, it was actually Jodie Foster. That makes the story that much more horrifying. Because we know she doesn't like that sort of thing.
I don't think anybody does.
Well, no, but I mean, she also, that's the whole wrong team taking turns at bat. She's not happy with that at all.
Man.
Do you know how much I loved Jodie Foster growing up? I probably still do. Like when I see her, amazing crush. I don't know what it was. I thought when I was a little boy, I was going to marry her. I actually said that watching this movie called The Little Girl Who Lives Down the Lane. It was on It was on like the afternoon, the 3:30 movie. Well, no, it's an actual movie. And it was on the 3:30 movie on Channel 7 in Chicago, and I saw her, and I was mesmerized by her. I don't know what it was. I was frozen, and then I just could not stop looking at her. And I even said, I was like, I'm gonna marry her. I'm gonna marry that girl. And I didn't even know what it meant at the time. You know what I mean? But I was just caught in this weird tractor beam of Jodie Foster. And then, as I got older, and I paid to see Maverick to see her and all this stuff. What are you shaking your head for?
Someone else had that same feeling about her, and that didn't end very well.
Well, he had initiative.
I'm glad you took a different path.
Yeah.
Your obsession.
Well,
Crap.
yeah. See, that's the thing.
Scaring me.
If I would have grabbed a gun instead of a sandwich, we're having a completely different conversation.
I don't think we'd be having a conversation at all.
I think we would.
I think you'd be talking to.
No, I think you'd be my Susan Sarandon. You'd be my Susan Sarandon. You'd come visit me in jail.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think you would.
No.
But I was obsessed with her. So I actually kind of got Hinckley when I heard it. I was like, yeah, I can see that. I mean, I don't understand the whole shooting the president part, but I understand the whole I want to steal her and put her in a hole in my ground type of thing.
Wow.
I think
Wow. Oh.
literally the only thing
Really
that kept me from kidnapping Jodie Foster to keep her for my own is I never had a yard. I have never had a yard.
That's what kept you back.
That's it. Because I have had apartment complexes my entire life. I've been that guy. Like I said, I was homeless. I lived in cars, all these different things. If I had a house with a yard, fucking forget about it. She and I'm doing, you know what? She's producing this fucking show. We're in a hole in my goddamn yard.
Holy crap.
So be thankful for my poverty, Jody.
I'm a little creeped out.
Are you? Come on. See, I don't have those feelings about everybody. It's just the one specific person.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm sure she's thrilled.
Actually, she probably would be. She would like me, I think.
I'm going to make sure I listen to episode 31, year 7, Jody.
Yeah, she's on Twitter. Fucking 9 diplomas from 18 Ivy League schools. She's a fucking genius. The last thing she's going to do is go to Twitter and put out bite-sized information about herself. And then, by the way, she's someone who wants to reveal some stuff about herself, too. She hasn't had too much trouble with that in her life.
I'm checking to see if she's on Twitter.
Are you good? All right, I hope so. I hope she is. Maybe I can get her to be a guest on this show.
We don't have guests.
I don't have a yard. That's why she'll come on. That'll be her question. Do you have a yard? I'm in.
Oh my Christ.
But I was fascinated by her, man. I don't know I can't explain it. And also then when I saw Silence of the Lambs, I watched it. I don't know. I saw it in a theater like 9 times, 10 times, and as a brunette, she was even more incredibly beautiful to me. Like it just changed her just enough to where I was re-fascinated with her. And then I thought to myself, you know what? I got to have 2 holes in my yard for blonde Jodie Foster and brunette Jodie Foster. How do we get off on that?
She was being raped in the bathroom at Wendy's.
Oh my God, folks, quit asking me about it for fuck's sake. You don't want to know. However, there was a free game involved. All right, so I should just tell you. But again, like I said, there's no. If I tell you, you're just gonna. Because I did tell. Who did I tell? I think I told. Did I tell you?
Yes.
Okay, and I told Jill.
Jodie Foster does not have a Twitter account that I can find.
Well, good. Honestly, I would think less of her if she did. I mean, she doesn't want to give. Literally, the most private person on the planet. If she was giving out fucking 140 character bite-sized information about herself, I would be tremendously disappointed. Although I'll tell you what, there are a few Twitter accounts that I've read that I think are actually run by Jodie Foster trying to talk to me.
That's awful.
I'm not going to say which ones they are. I'm going to keep them private for me and her. But it's again on Facebook. Everybody has their opinion, and everybody comes out and they say their thing, and it's like it's just terrible. That this is the thing is where people choose sides is the thing that I don't get. This is a terrible, terrible story. It's fucking horrible that a kid was shot. If you take black and white out of it, it's terrible that the kid was shot. It's awful that it has turned like this, and then there's the whole neighborhood, the whole family, everybody's falling apart, and everybody turns it into fucking sports. They're rooting for their team. You're rooting for your team. Ah, fuck your team. Your team's the worst. God damn it. It's not a sport. And the worst part of it is, I'll tell you what, this shit happens everywhere, man. It's not just fucking in, Ferguson, Missouri. That's the one that they're turning the spotlight on. But it happens all the time. There's the kid in Cleveland who got fucking shot. They said he had a fake gun, but now he doesn't have a fake gun, or he had a piece of fruit or whatever the fuck. I have no idea. All I know is he got a fucking lead salad because he was in the wrong fucking place. And it's just guys firing volleys of bullets into people who don't need to be shot. I don't fucking understand it. I don't get it. And look, I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, yes, well, I know everything. Dude, I'm a fucking dumbass podcaster. All right, that's me. I'm it. I'm not going to change your mind, but what I want you to do is the next time you go to post, well, he did rob a store, before you fucking type that sentence, realize that he was shot for it and murdered in the street, dead. And look, you can say, well, he wasn't murdered, he was attacking the guy. And dude, he was murdered. He didn't have a gun, he got shot, he's murdered. That's it. That's all. In my opinion. Lily's making a face. She doesn't agree with me. We already had this discussion earlier. But I will just tell you this. Don't break into Lily's house or car. That's what I will tell you, folks. And rightfully so. I get that. Everybody handles this their own way. But I mean, this happens. Dude, we had a case here in fucking California. We had a thing here in California. There was a kid. He was a star running back in high school. He was going to go to USC on a scholarship. And he winds up at like a party or a rally or something. And then this is so stupid. He stepped on somebody's shoes. And they got into a beef over the shoes. And they wound up getting separated. Some people pulled some guns. A bunch of crazy shit happened. And then weeks passed before they were able to fucking have something happen again. And it turns out this kid who, look, granted, he shouldn't have gone out looking for trouble, but because he was going to go to USC on a fucking football scholarship, all he had to do was pass his SAT with a 700 score, and he took the test. He wasn't sure if he was going to do it. He was all fucking nervous. But it's just, that's the backstory. But the whole point is, when he was going to find out whether or not he was going to go to USC on a football scholarship, he goes out basically looking for trouble, and he gets killed by Bloods. He gets fucking killed, gunned down by Bloods. This is a kid who was going to be a star running back in high school. Or he wasn't a star running back in high school. He was going to go to USC. And then his brother decides that he's going to take revenge on the guys who killed him. So then he gets his boys and he goes out looking and he kills them in a drive-by. And then he executes the two of them in a fucking fast food restaurant parking lot. And then 2 weeks later, brother is murdered. Like 6 people died because somebody stepped on somebody's shoes. Now, granted, that is the movie Boys in the Hood. But my point is it could happen anywhere. Look, all I'm saying is when they make the Ferguson movie, Ice Cube does not have to be the Michael Brown doughboy role. He can actually be the Furious Styles Mr. Brown role. That's what I'm saying. That's how much things have changed in this country. I just don't understand the sportsification of this event. It's a terrible thing. It's terrible that it happened. I have my own opinions, and I'm not going to, I don't want to get into a debate. And I mean, I was making jokes about it the night it happened. And, but then there was a fight on my Facebook page between people who are like, yay, cops. And people are like, you're a white supremacist. And I'm just like, why are you having that argument? I don't. And again, I may be an exclusionary guy. I may be an isolationist, but I just feel, go Go hug your kids and read them a story and go to bed. Go dig a hole in your yard and make a plan. That's what I say to you.
I just keep thinking about when you had
What?
this coming from you makes me laugh because I've heard this story where the BB pellets were shot back and forward, and when they asked how did this happen,
Listen.
what was your response?
2 black guys came down the street, shot out the window,
Yep.
and left. Buy year 1.
Really, buy year 1.
Yeah, you need to buy year 1. So my point is, I'm not going to anything called Hobo Thanksgiving. I'm not.
There won't be a drive-by. They didn't have any guns.
I don't know, man. I've seen a lot of stuff go down in the park. Yeah, no, even worse, though, there'll be like a drive-by ukuleleing. I can't do it. Lily's friends are all these people who are like very nice and they're lovely people and all that, but I mean they're just cooking tins of beans over an open fire and they're pretending that they're in the old west, and I just don't understand it. I don't get it. This hobo nonsense. There's sword swallowers and people doing walking magic. Nobody wants to see strolling magic in the park. Nobody. Don't make that quarter disappear. Go eat your cold mashed potatoes and sit down and shut up. Put on clothes that are appropriate for society in the year 2014.
What would be a nice Thanksgiving for you?
A nice Thanksgiving for me?
Yeah, what would be like the perfect Thanksgiving for you?
Well, I've talked about this before. I equate like, well, dude, I'm a fucking weirdo. I mean, I equate a lot of stuff with love because it's like I want to, because I'm a misfit who doesn't feel loved sometimes. We all are like that. But then you that's why I overreact and I glom onto it and stuff like where I just like, oh my God, that's love. You love me. Or it was when Smells Like Thursday happened. You know, I woke up and I was like, the house was just normal. And I'm like, where the fuck is my Thanksgiving? Where's love? There's no love here. What happened?
What would be a perfect Thanksgiving?
See, this is going to sound stupid because no matter what I say, it's going to sound like the end of Nightmare on Elm Street where everybody's all happy and it seems fine until the mom gets torn through the fucking screen door.
No, it should be a happy. Would it be like you and Jill in front of a fire eating turkey and strawberries?
Honestly, well, I don't think I need the turkey.
You okay? But I mean, would you wake up and the house is smelled and it's filled with kids and everyone's having
See, but this is blurring the lines a little bit here. Because I'll be truly honest with you. All right, and Thanksgiving, no Thanksgiving, anything. All I want is to be with Jill. I'm serious. That's all I want all the time. So that would be included in it, and you know maybe in a
spending time with someone you love and having a nice
no spending time with Jill, who I love. I don't give a fuck about other people I love at all. Fuck that. That's a short list. No, I'm kidding. Obviously. You know, it would be, because again, I equate the food with love, but then I found in recent years that it's the cooking and the preparation and the smell and there's the effort that's put forth for me that I find more comforting than eating anything. Like I don't give a fuck about the eating of the food, really. I'm changing as I get older and it's becoming different. Like there's a blur between Thanksgiving and Christmas and 9/11. I mean, all of them seem to. They're all holidays.
Not necessarily.
They're all just different in their import. You tell me you don't like to get together with your family for the traditional 9/11 meal.
I don't even like to get together for Thanksgiving anymore because I think the more I've learned about our history and what Thanksgiving really is.
Oh, enough. Stop. I don't want to hear that speech, please. Really? Really? We got African tribes and getting machetes in the face. You're going to tell me about the Pilgrims?
Well, again, all of it. I mean, I love the fake notion that we got together and broke bread and that was what led to this great country. But when you find out what really happened, that was just one small little thing that happened in a really bad history.
Yeah, but TV and satellite dishes and iPods.
Again, I agree with all of the progress and things that we've had are great, but that doesn't necessarily mean that Thanksgiving or Columbus Day or holidays we should probably be celebrating the way we do. I don't know. Again, eventually we'll have 9/11 sales. So I know it will happen in my lifetime, and it's disgusting.
Well, you still dodged the question on the celebratory 9/11 meal. You don't like doing that with your.
Get together for a
What?
celebratory 9/11 meal.
Actually, you know what the celebratory 9/11 meal is?
Don't want to know.
Well, you get Richard Dreyfuss together, and he builds those 2 towers out of mashed potatoes from Close Encounters.
Oh, the horror. I love that you go there so I don't have to.
Hobo Thanksgiving. I don't, there's just a blur between everything. Like as you get older, your life is flying by and you find that you change your goals and you change the things that you want. You know, when I was a kid, I wanted to be famous or I wanted to do these things. And now, you know what? I want to do what I'm supposed to do and be compensated for it in a way to where I can actually be comfortable and be with my girlfriend all the time. I mean, literally that's what I want. I don't, there's no finish line. You know, there just isn't. You're just moving forward and you're living and you're doing the best that you can, you know, and look, you know, honestly, Thanksgiving, if I could get Jill and then go see my mom and my stepdad and then my aunts and, you know, because I had great Thanksgivings as a kid. It was just that thing where you're in the house and football's on and the smell of turkey is in the air and all your relatives are there. That was pretty neat. If I could recreate that with Jill and bring her and it would be amazing. That would be so fun. But at the same time, I wouldn't, you know, because as you know, when you get together with people, I mean, you're going to go to Eddie's house and stuff like that. And after a couple hours, you're kind of like, we probably get out of here. You know, we should go ahead and ditch this, right? We could probably take off.
I don't think I've ever said that at Eddie's house.
Well, I mean, I don't mean it in a mean way, but it's just that thing where you're just kind of like, you know, because I would, you know, I just want to take Jill by the hand and get in the car and disappear. You know what I mean? And you know, and that speaks more to me probably. It does. It really does. Because I mean, I don't. You know, there are people who they die and swear by family and all this sort of thing. And I love my family. I mean, I love my brothers and I hope everything goes well for them. But, you know, sometimes you realize that it doesn't work out and you have to cut them off or you have to stop talking to them or you have to, you know, I didn't talk to my older brother for 12 years, you know, and right now there's one of my brothers I haven't talked to and I've talked to him once in the past like 4 years, you know, and because you can't, I have my own problems. I got my own horrible stuff going on, and I tried to save him for a long time, and I couldn't. I did what I could, and now when I talk to him, it's honestly, it's just it could not be more maddening or depressing to hear him tell me the same things over and over, and you just go, what are you doing? I mean, you know, this is my brother. I told him to come to California and live with me. I said, get the fuck out of that environment and come here. This is like 3 years ago or whatever. I said, just come here. Just live in my house and get a job and do what you can to rebuild your fucking life. I mean, it's just, you are spinning your fucking wheels in a place where you will never get ahead. You just need to fucking stop. And I gave him that speech. And again, when you're getting that speech from me, whose entire life is a torn mosaic of hopes and dreams, but it's, you know, you become fascinated with the idea of just being happy. And that's all I want. That's all I want going forward. I don't, and look, I twist my guts up. I get fucking weird and I still get upset. And, it's funny. I don't know if I talked about this on here. If I did, stop me. You know, when I was at the car dealership, I should talk about that too, by the way. Remember when I was at the car dealership and things were, oh, it's so stupid. Remember when I was at the car dealership, everybody's like, oh my God, yes. Which time? Well, the time when I said, sometimes you choose to be scary and sometimes scary chooses you, and I rammed my head into the glass door. Okay. Well, like 2 days later, I got a text from Jill, and she's like, hey, because I was going there the next week. And she's like, hey, we have to have a talk when you get here. And I'm terrible at that kind of open-ended stuff. It's like, dude, if you're just going to break up with me, do it now. I can't.
That's where you go.
But that's where my haunted head goes immediately because everybody goes away. Everybody goes away. And so in your head, I immediately go, I can't fret for 5 days that you're going to cut me loose. I can't do that. So look, if you're just going to tell me now. And it's like, I'll figure out a way to not come there. And because I'm not going to go there for 5 days and we're going to have a good 5 days and you're going to break up with me on the last day. Like, I don't fucking know what that means. And she's like, well, no, it's just, I've had a chance to think about some things after hearing your show this week. And I really, you know, I think there's some things that we need to talk about. And I again, that doesn't answer any fucking questions either. That's just, literally, that's just like, oh, I was being vague. Here, let me throw some mist in front of that vague so you can't. Let me do everything I can to shroud this in vagueness and secrecy so you really freak the fuck out for the next 5 days. Because that's what I do. I mean, I literally, I drive in my car. I work doubles. I work all the time. And I talk to myself. I talk out loud. I listen to old time radio, or I listen to music, but also I will have discussions and telling myself things I should do or what I should do. And I'm sure I look like a crazy person, and that's fine. But I'm finding it because I'm not with anybody. I'm never with anybody. I don't see my friends. I don't see anyone. My life has taken a divergent path to where I'm away from my girlfriend, and my friends are doing the things they're supposed to be doing, and I'm stuck. I want to move forward and do the things I'm supposed to do, but right now I'm doing what I have to do. So when you're alone and you're by yourself, you need to keep kind of telling yourself, it's, you know what, this is temporary. This is going to work. And it's like, I'm not fucking Ziggler in my car talking to myself all the time. You're special. You're important. No, it's not that kind of bullshit. Like, I will have discussions out loud with people in my life. I will have discussions out loud with, my mom or my brother or whomever. And I will have those things where I talk out loud to try to work through things in my own fucking head because I am crazy. And I don't know if you do that sort of thing or if you think I'm nuts for doing it, but it's how I cope and it's how I handle things. Because otherwise my guts are twisted up with a stick and my brain works overtime because I cannot turn my head off. I can't. I've tried. I want to. This is why I watch nonsense television. This is why I watch fucking the Holiday Baking Championship. I want to watch a bunch of gay dudes in sweaters cook cupcakes because you know what? I can just sit there and veg out and watch it. I can hate watch it. That's fine. I love it. I love that show. Dude, watch the Holiday Baking Championship. If you can watch last week's, you've got to watch the rerun from last week when they had to make 3 pies. You have to. It's gorgeous because they get these people who run catering businesses or whatever, and there's one big burly gay dude and he dresses really meticulously, really nice, and he's just I have to say this. I was going to fucking videotape it and send it to Jill because it made me laugh so hard. He's just he's gay, but I mean but crazy. Hello off the roof gay, like that sort of thing. So, but he's a sweet guy and he's cooking and good for him. And he dresses really nice. He wears color because you know why? And he's a big dude that doesn't mind color because a gay big dude can wear color. He doesn't have to be Johnny Cash and the McGuire twins. I want to wear color. That's what I was talking about. That fucking shirt. I still have that goddamn shirt, but I missed my window with that shirt. I got to figure out a comfortable weight to where I can wear that shirt because it's like a 2X. So now when I wear it, it's too blousy. And it's just too big because I wear it and I want to roll the sleeves up because it gives a little forearm action and fucking wear it. But it's a white shirt with like purple and orange stripes. I mean, it's a really nice shirt. It would look really sharp with a pair of jeans, but it's too big for me now. So I've actually washed it and tried to shrink it, but it doesn't fucking work. So I'm like, I can't get rid of it. It's in my closet, mocking me, tormenting me to the point where I'm like, well, what amount of weight do I have to gain to where this shirt will actually look okay on me again? But I wore it once. I wore it to that fucking bowling alley for a goddamn party. That was it. That shirt had a shelf life of 4 hours. It probably still smells like fucking ball grease and smoke. To be honest with you, a lot of my clothes smell like ball grease. Certainly my sheets do. So the Holiday Baking Championship, this dude, he they had to cook 3 pies at the end, and there was a big rush, and then they told them that the big twist was, all right, pick one of your pies and take it out of the mix. You're only giving 2 pies to the judges, and they're like, oh, what? That's a dirty trick. So then they turned in the pies to the judges, and he turned in like the fuck was it? Like a chocolate pumpkin pie and then something else, whatever. So he made great pies, and at the end they were like, only one of you could win. It was either Narnia or David.
Narnia?
I think her name was Narnia, not Natalia. I don't fucking know. Well, she made Turkish Delight, so I think her name was Narnia. So this guy David, they say to him, they're like, hey, the winner of this challenge is David, and I mean, you have to see, this guy is in a reality show to cook pies, all right, and he reacts like he's Miss America. Quite frankly, I mean, he did that over the top. He just goes, O.M.G. He yells, O.M.G. And that's a running thing with Jill and I, because there are people on Facebook who keep saying O.M.G. with like exclamation point, and it's the dumbest fucking thing in the world, especially when you're a 54-year-old dude, whatever. But so it's just crazy because he just goes, O.M.G. and then sobs for hours. Just covers his face in his hands. He's like, he's so happy. He hasn't even won the show. He won the pie challenge. There's still 6 other bakers in the house. I mean, he's got 10 more challenges to win the 50 grand. And fine, good for you. I guess you take a lot of pride in your pies, but oh my God. O.M.G. Sobbing, miserable. Just crying, and he gets hugged, and someone's like, congratulations. He barely can look at them because he's literally convulsing. Like his whole body's like, he's fucking sobbing. You got to see it. That was last week's holiday baking challenge. They'll rerun it like a couple times. And then if you want to pick it up now, start watching it. It's on Sunday nights on the Food Network because it's awesome. It's just awesome. See, that's the shit I like is those weird competition shows. And oh, dude, I found that Food Factory show. Did I talk about that on here? When I was at Jill's house, she was sleeping. And dude, that was I talked about it on here. She was sleeping. I thought, man, it's a show where they just go to factories and they show people cook stuff. Oh, dude, yeah. You guys gonna make some rotini? I'm in. And not like baking rotini and making a dish. They're like making the hard shell rotini, showing you how they spin it up, make the noodles. Oh my God. It's like when they have those little kids watching those how to make a highway things. That's how I'm in, man. You want to show me how to can tomatoes? I'm doing it. Let's do this. Oh, you're making egg rolls? I will watch forever. I don't care. Because the cooking is one thing, that's fine. But then these fucking shows where they go to the factory and they show you how they make the raw material to make the fucking food. Oh my God, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So I can get myself pretty twisted up, and that's why I watch these shows, is so I can go away from myself for a little while because I am exhausting. So I'll come home and I'll just fucking, grab a Hershey bar and a bottle of water, and I'll just throw that on and I just sit there and stare. Yes, I know I need to stop. I know. So it's hard for me to turn my head off. So she texted me and she's like, hey, we really got to talk. I've done some thinking about your show this week and I got to talk to you. And I don't know what that means. I had no, and I did my best to be like, ha ha ha, oh, okay. Oh, that's fine. Ha 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 ha. I mean, but for 4 days, I'm just miserable. Like, I don't even know, cause I didn't know what to do or whatever. And so we wound up, I think we talked on the phone because I couldn't wait. I wasn't going to fly to town and get told, yeah, we're done. Because, certainly I like airports. Not that much. But she talks to me and she's like, hey, I heard your show this week and, I need to make sure that you're serious about us going forward, and I was like, well, what do you? I don't know what you're talking about. She goes, well, you told that story about when you rammed your head into a glass door. I said, yeah. She goes, well, you tell me that you think about me all the time and you think about our future together and how it's going to be. And I said, yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm excited. I can't wait. You're everything I want. And she goes, yeah. Then why are you ramming your head into a glass door in a car dealership? And I don't, I don't get called on my nonsense that often. You know what I mean? To where I can actually objectively look at it and go, oh, yeah. Because a lot of stuff becomes fodder for the show. I've beaten up cars. I've gotten out and screamed in people's faces. I've, even when I was a kid, I threw tomatoes at people. I mean, I've kind of operated with impunity here. I'm sort of, what I am? I'm the at the end of Lethal Weapon 2, I'm the South African old dude who goes, diplomatic immunity. And then Jill is Roger Murtaugh, who gets to go, has just been revoked, and shoots me in the head.
Seems harsh.
Sometimes I need it, though. You know what? Maybe a good bullet in the head would fucking snap me out of my nonsense. That's what I need. If somebody just shot me in the head a few fucking times, maybe I'd be okay. But that's the thing. Because I don't think. You live your life and you react, and I've done it all along. And I always make that joke about where, it's time to pay the check. You've lived the way you wanted to live, and now it's time to pay the check. Well, I don't even have a check anymore. It's just time to fucking fade into the distance. You know what I mean? My life is taillights at this point. I'm halfway dead. Honestly, I'm halfway dead, and that's generous. I'm 47. If I hit 94, get the fuck out of here. Seriously, somebody write Jesus a chain letter and go, how's that guy alive still? He's in charge, right? He's the guy who fucking kills you. That's right. Why isn't he coming down here and put a hand on my shoulder and going, we're going to take a walk?
I thought the Grim Reaper did that.
He's Jesus' flunky. And I'll be honest with you, why do you think the Grim Reaper wears the fucking robe? Jesus doesn't want you to know he has a job. takes off the fucking robe. There it is. It's Jesus. And you're like, dude, you're Jesus. You're supposed to be the cool guy. And he's like, yeah, but you know, so I like killing people sometimes. So he puts on the fucking robe. Maybe Jesus wants to kill some people, so he wears the fucking robe. See? That's right. I think I just changed your way of fucking thinking, didn't I?
Mind blown.
You're coming around to my way of thinking. That's what Nash Cato would have you think. All right, so, folks. So to hear her put it in those terms, it kind of, it threw me. Because, look, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know I'm supposed to behave. I know that, but you live and you don't think sometimes. And that's the thing is I've spent a lot of time not thinking. And for her to hear someone actually verbalize that they were counting on you to stop being stupid so you could stay together for the rest of your lives.
That's fucking funny.
That's kind of powerful. Hey, idiot. Stop being an idiot. I love you. You know what I mean? Like, literally, it was just that. She told me in a much more nice and gentle fashion. But she's the fucking greatest. It just when she said, again, like, it's just that thing where she's like, hey, you say you think of me all the time, but why would you do dumb things like that if you're thinking about me and us all the time? And it's funny because that's the first thing I said when I walked into Shannon. And I looked at her and I go, I have to stop thinking about me. I have to stop thinking about me because I want to be, I'm finally an us. I'm finally a we. And I'm not an I anymore. And so I need to figure out how to stop doing that. And then I ran my head into a fucking door at a goddamn car dealership. But in fairness to me, you heard those stories, goddammit. But I'm confronted by that dilemma every day. Do I fucking nonstop punching tornado this person? Or do I bask in the afterglow the rest of my life for the next 50 years with my beautiful girlfriend? Which is it? What do I do? I mean, believe me, it's not that difficult a choice. It's just after 47 fucking years of doing the other, it's hard to call heads. See, that's my goal. I want to stay alive on this earth long enough to just have unending happiness with my beautiful girlfriend while I'm wearing my Calvin Klein shirt. That's all I want to do. And it has to fit. That's the thing, is it has to fit. I think I made Jill watch me try it on. I was like, oh, check out, look at the shirt. I was all like fucking 8 years old. I'm like, look. And I put it on and she's like, that's good, honey. I like that shirt. It's really nice. And I'm like, oh, dude, what are you doing? Because it's exciting to have clothes that fit. You're like, yay, fashion show. And she's just like, okay, whatever, dude. Because she's just, she indulges me and doesn't mind that I'm fucking ridiculous. All right, good. She went to my reunion when I went to my high school reunion. I'm going to talk about this because, yeah, all right, I got to be honest with you. My 30th reunion took place in that bathroom at Wendy's. Now, that's when I walked in, and there's the pool table, Jodie Foster, and then a bunch of football players from my school. I went to my reunion in July of this year. And that was an amazing trip, which I won't cover the whole trip. I will break it into pieces, but I'll talk about my reunion today because a lot of people, they keep saying, tell me about it. And when I tell you about it, you'll realize why I've waited this long, I think. It was kind of a tough thing because Jill, she had to work. Our reunion was on a Saturday night, and Jill has odd hours, so she was going to we had to go and drive home Saturday night so she could be to work on Sunday. And so, driving from where she lives, it's over 2 hours to get to where we're going. So, and also I will say this too, when we were getting ready to go, Jill was crazy excited. She couldn't wait to go to my reunion, and I couldn't wait to bring her. But she would also say, are you sure you want to bring me? I'm like, oh my God, yes, of course I do. Why you're a huge part of my life. And we'll get through the awkward together. Just hold my hand. And she asked, she had concerns. She didn't want to be left alone. She didn't want to show up in a room where she didn't know anybody, and then I would just go off and start talking to people and leave her by herself. And I'm like, you don't understand, man. My friends will not let you be alone. It's not going to fucking happen. I mean, I will be there with you at your side the whole time, but you will always be protected. I don't know how to put it. Like, 'cause our crew is our crew. It's just you're with me, so you're with them. So everything was great. We were getting there, and then on Saturday afternoon we were getting ready to go, and she was kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to go. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know if you're going to go? She's like, well, I don't, I'm just not sure. I just want to make sure that it's going to be okay, but I don't want it to be. And I go, what do you, honey, you got to, it's all right. It's going to be fine. We're going to have a great time. And she kind of kept it up. And to the point where finally I go, do you not want to go? Is that what it is? And she's like, no, I want to go. I just want to make sure that it's okay. And I go, relax. And I get it. Okay. Because meeting her friends and stuff like that is always kind of a coin flip because they don't know me and I'm the internet. Literally, that's who I am. You know what I mean? To them. Because I mean I'm long distance and they see our photos, that sort of thing. So it's a scary proposition. And as scary as it is when you're 22, it's that much scarier when you're in your 40s because I've known these people my whole life and she has no reference point except for me calling them the UN of evil and telling the stupid stories I've told about them on the show. So I'm sure she's just kind of like, I'm sure these guys are awesome and stuff, but at the same time, are they? Am I safe? There's not going to be a pinball machine at this reunion, is there, by any chance? So she was a little hinky, I could tell. And then I was like, just it'll be fine. I love you. And I just kind of backed off and let her get ready. And then we got in the car, and we had to run a couple errands beforehand, and we drove. We drove the 2 hours, and I was like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm excited." She finally then she came around. Once we were in the car, she came around, and she was really excited to go. And it was at a golf course in Bolingbrook where I grew up, at this, at their clubhouse or whatever the fuck. And we pulled in, and it's so funny the little things that take you right back to being a kid or being somewhere. Just coming in and coming off the freeway, and as I drove, I go, I lived in those apartment buildings right there, and I've taken her to Romeoville. Like I took her on a little tour once before of Bolingbrook and Romeoville, but this time I was like, because we're on the other side of town, I'm like, well, that's over here. And I'm like, and this is the White Hen where I stole stuff. I mean, it's like I'm showing all this stuff. So we get to the golf course, and outside there's a sign. There's no, how churches have that stupid sign where they're like, give Jesus a high five and you'll always get 10 back, or whatever the fuck they say, some weird inspirational message. And I'm like, whatever the fuck. Well, there was no placard or no board out there that was like, hey, Bolingbrook, welcome, class of '84. But so I knew it was there. I pulled in. And it was tiny. It was probably, I would say, 1.5 feet by 2 feet. And it was just a sign on 2 metal skewers, and it was just jammed into the ground. And all it had was just the face of our high school mascot, the Bolingbrook Raider. Like there was no reunion here, Bolingbrook High, nothing, no class of '84, nothing. Just the mustachioed face of the Bolingbrook Raider. Almost in an ominous fashion, warning people who were not part of the Bolingbrook Raiders, you don't want to be at the golf course tonight because it is full of these idiots. So we pulled in, and I was like, "Are you ready? You excited?" And she's like, "I'm excited." So we parked, and as we parked, another car parked, and we get out of the car, and it's just, again, I wasn't, I know my friends, but then there's that group of people you haven't seen in however long. And there's people you want to see, and then there's people you're like, I hope I don't fucking see that guy ever, But a car pulled in just when we pulled in, and we got out to walk, and I came around and I took Jill's hand. And as we're walking, Rich Balsitis gets out of his car with his wife, who he introduces her as Kristen. But I mean, I think he may have introduced her as Chris. Chris or Kristen? What did he introduce her as? I don't recall exactly, but I think her name's Kristen. He may have introduced her as Chris, and in my head I went, that looks like a Kristen. I'm an idiot. But Rich Balsitis is a guy who I went to school with who wasn't in like the group of dudes that I hung out with. He's not in the UN of Evil. He's just a cool guy who wasn't a jerk. Does that make sense? Because I told you when I was in school, I kind of knew everybody. I mean, I knew all the kind of the stoners and the jerks and all of us, and always the twain shall meet at a party at Mike Casey's house. So Rich introduces his wife, and I see him, and I got to be honest, it was the perfect guy to see first because he is a great guy. He and I we had tons of stuff in common in school, and he was sweet and normal. And so that was a good introduction for Jill into the people that I knew, and she didn't have to deal with the Unit of Evil right off the bat. It was great. Because honestly, if we get out of the car and there's fucking Dennis in the parking lot, oh my, Jill doesn't get out of the car. She runs. I never see her again. You know what Jill does? If she meets Dennis first, she goes to the car dealership and puts her head through a plate glass window. That's what she does. So we see Rich, and I talk to him, he talks to Jill, I talk to his wife, and then we make our way inside, and it was really great. And I'm like, it's that thing where, because you're looking for small victories when you go to your high school reunions. You're like, you know what? If I can get out of here with only 12% awkward or 30% awkward, then that's fine. If I can just make my way out of here without having to swear at somebody or have somebody try to start a karaoke thing or tell me that I need to do some stand-up, then I think it's okay. I've had a good time. And if I can get out of here without Jill hating my lifelong friends and thinking that they were douchebags, that would be great. I would love that. But again, if she likes me, if she loves me, she's going to love them, right? They're all just kind of versions of me. I'm pushing it a little bit. They're responsible human beings and adults. They have yards. Let's put it that way. That's the main difference. That is the main difference between me and all my friends. They have yards. So we made our way inside, and the party was upstairs. And by the way, Jill looked astonishing. You can actually find the pictures online. She's wearing a green dress. And green's my favorite color. And, it pops my eyes, as we all know, right? You guys all know green pops my eyes. But she looked, she's astonishingly beautiful. So we went upstairs, and we walked in, and it was, again, it's a time machine. Because you're seeing people that you haven't seen in 10, 15 years, 20 years, sometimes 30 years, because there are people I haven't seen since high school. And they all look the same but different. They've all been hit with that aging ray. You know what I mean? And there are some people who, like David Hernandez, for example, who has never changed in his life. I mean, he literally looks exactly the same. He's just not cutting his hair in such a Studio 54 type fashion anymore. Well, he was super stylish. I mean, like when we were kids, you know what I mean? He just had amazing hair. So he had kind of big hair, and then he'd wear, fucking suits, and he was sharp and flashy. And now when you see him, you're like, he looks just like he did. It's just like he's a dad version of himself. You know what I mean? Like he didn't age. He just changed. The rest of us aged. But even guys, my friends, when you walk in and you see them again, it's just, it is even jarring to see the changes. That my friend Craig, the big guy, I love Craig, and he's there with his wife Mary, and we walk in, but Craig, even from the last time I saw him, Craig looks like 85 years old. Like I don't know what the fuck happened to him, but good for him, and he's okay with it. But it's just like a little snow on the roof, a little pooch gut, I mean, it's just there, and you're like, wow. Because I knew this dude in high school. I knew him sophomore year, playing basketball with him every goddamn day. It's crazy. Dennis still looks like Dennis, kind of. You know what I mean? But I think that's the problem. Is he's no, I'm not even gonna take that cheap shot. I'm not gonna do it. Dennis still looks like Dennis. It's pointless. It's just. Well, no, you know why? Because it's just stupid. Because it's just dumb. It's like because I was fat and he was short. That was the whole thing, like growing up, and that became the thing back and forth. And even though now he owns probably 4 houses and he travels to Italy 3 times a year, he's like fucking incredibly successful. He's still Dennis from school. You know what I mean? You're just like, nah, but he's not really. He's not. And like I've said before, he would, if anything fucking happened, he would be the first guy here with a blanket and an open wallet. I mean, that's, and by the way, Dennis, if you're listening, please show up with a blanket and an open wallet. Because it's cold and I'm broke. All right, so, we walked in, and it was just that thing where I would see people, and it was weird for Jill, but it was also weird for me because I'm seeing people and going, oh my god, and then I'm introducing Jill to them, and then I see my group of people. I see Woj and his wife Linda, and Linda immediately just takes Jill under her wing, just like grabs her, and was so great. I mean, I was so happy. Because she immediately starts talking to her, and she's like, oh, you're with Schmitty, because Linda, she didn't know us in school. She married into us. So in the beginning, it was probably weird for her too, because we were all pretty close-knit. We've known each other for years, because, David married his high school sweetheart, and, Craig, it was a weird group to try to break into. So Linda did, and now, so Linda just went, oh, Jill, you're the new Linda. And she kind of grabbed onto her. It was sweet and kind and just really nice. And I made my way to a table, and then I saw I saw Sam Silva, and I saw this woman Jeanette. All these people that I went to school with, and again, they've all been zapped with this aging ray, but they're all super great. They're really friendly and really nice. Jill's at the bar talking to Sam Silva. She buys him a drink. You know what I mean? And they're just talking about life, about being grown-ups and adults and having kids, because there's no weirdness at all. My 20th or my 10th, I don't know which one I fucking went to. It was really fun, and then at night it got really fucking crazy weird. Like, once people got some beers in them and they broke off and they went to conference rooms and shit, it turned into a bad trip. But at this reunion, man, I and it's so funny. Like, I barely talked to David, to Max. I was with Jill, and then I wound up finding other people and introducing her to them, and seeing people that I hadn't seen in forever. This guy Vic, and it was so great. There was this group of guys when we were kids. There was a guy named Tony Melinda, and he was the middle linebacker on the football team, and he called himself Pac-Man. Like, it became his nickname. I think he actually put it on his jersey at one point. Like, he had a jersey that said Pac-Man, and I'm like, oh, because he gobbles up runners, whatever the fuck. Weird. Again, you can't hold people accountable for the crimes they committed in fucking high school, because we were all idiots. And that's what the 30th reunion is about. You can't just look at these dudes and just go dismiss them out of hand because, like, you were a Jagoff 30 years ago. Well, so fucking what? You know what I mean? Now it's a clean slate. Everybody gets to reprove whether they're a Jagoff or not at this party. That's all the reunion is, really. It's a Jagoff proving ground. That's all it is. So Tony, when he was in school, he always had these dudes who followed him around, like Dwayne Riley and these other guys. And so we used to call Tony, because we're great guys, we would call him our hero. Oh, look, it's our hero. You know what I mean? He was just because he thought he was fucking everything, and whatever. So we mocked him and we'd call him our hero. And then his friends, Vic and Dwayne, were the disciples because they were always with him. So it was like, oh, our hero and the disciples. What the fuck? And then it became also like Mark Riley and George Antos and whatever. So, but I'll tell you what, man, we got to the reunion and we're inside and we're talking to people, we're meeting people, and it's friendly. And then I actually had to run out to the car. And I had seen Dwayne Riley inside and Vic, who I haven't seen in fucking forever. And I go outside, and Vic is a guy, weirdly, I grew up across the street from Vic in Romeoville. Vic was, before this is when I was in fucking 5th grade and 6th grade, Vic lived across the street from me, and then we wound up in high school together 10 years later in a different town. It was just a fluke. Vic actually had a sister. I'll tell this fucking story. I shouldn't. Vic had a sister named Kim. And Lenny, my older brother, liked Kim, I guess. But I mean, what does that mean when you're 12? Who knows?
12?
I think Lenny was 12.
Wow.
Yeah, he's 12. He's 11 going to be 12, or 12 going to be 13. And Kim is probably 10, So Lenny writes Kim a note. He writes her a note telling her he wants to make love to her. At 12. Kim, I want to make love to you.
That's creepy.
Gives her the note. Well, Kim shows her parents. And her parents come over to our house to talk to my mom about. So I just remember these 3 adults having a summit meeting on the porch of my house, talking about how my 12-year-old brother wants to make love to Kim, their 10-year-old daughter. Just the phrase, I want to make love to you. Where did he even hear it? It's fucking hysterical. And then she knew enough to think this is weird and gave it to her parents. And then they came over and it was a fucking mess. It was so bad. Lenny was so embarrassed, just like freaked out. And they're like, because then they had to bring him out. And they're like, do you know what that means? And he's like, I don't. Like, he really didn't, because we didn't. He was 11 or whatever the fuck. I want to make love to you. And my brother didn't even have a handlebar mustache.
Does he know?
He may. So I walked outside at one point. I had to go to the car and grab something. And when I walked out, Tony walks out. Tony Melinda. And he is bald. He looks exactly the same. Like he's in shape. He's a little small, like wiry fire plug dude. But he's shaved bald, not like going bald. He may have been going bald, but he shaved it clean. Still got the goatee. He's a good looking guy. And he's wearing, like, honestly, I have to think on his way to the reunion, he had a layover in Vegas. and somehow stole something from the Liberace Museum to wear into the reunion. It was a vest. And the only reason it was a vest is because no self-respecting sleeves would be seen with the rest of the garment. What a mess. So, it looked like a strip club exploded. I mean, it was like that, just glittery and weird. I mean, perhaps I'm a little biased, but he was our hero and he walks past me, and he had an earring in as well, and I go, Tony, and he looks at me and I go, Mike Schmidt, how are you? He's like, oh, hey, hi, and he was super cool, and I go, hey, everybody's upstairs, the whole thing's upstairs. There's people on the back patio too, and he's like, great, thanks. He walks off. I get the thing out of the car and I come into the fucking into the party. And Tony, he had gone out back first. And I said, "Oh man, I look, all right. I wanted to just have a good time and have fun. And I wanted my girlfriend to meet my friends. That was the whole reason I was there. But I'm also me to a certain extent. So we walked in and I'm talking to Rich Balsitas. I see him and Mex, and they're standing there. And I go, Jesus, I just had a close call in the parking lot. And I said, what? And I go, well, when Tony Melinda was descending from his pirate ship, his cutlass cut my ear. It was like really terrible. And then they see him, and Balsitas just starts laughing. And then fucking Mex says like 8 hilarious things about it because he's a fucking genius. And that was the only snarky thing I'd said up to that point. But then Tony makes his way into the room. And again, it's weird. You're there with people you've known you knew for a very important part of your life. You don't know them your whole lives, but you've known them for a very important part of your life. And now you're seeing them 30 years later, and you don't know who they've become or what they are, but you're hoping that you can somehow just get through the evening. You know, remember I said earlier where you're just like, hey, let's get in the car and get out of here. But Tony walks in to this common area, and Vic and Dwayne are at the bar. And he sees them, and they see him. And the looks on their faces can't possibly be duplicated at how happy they were to see one another. Because every single moment that they had spent together in high school came to life between them across a room. I don't know if they hang out with each other anymore. I don't know if they haven't seen each other in 30 years. I don't know. All I know is the second they saw one another, I was disappointed it didn't take place in a poppy field and they couldn't run in slow motion towards one another. Because it was fantastic. It was like the moment in Natural Born Killers where Mickey and Mallory finally get reunited on the TV and Robert Downey Jr. shows them and he's like, this is a moment that's been years in the making. And I saw them and I saw our hero on one side of the room and I saw the disciples on the other side of the room, and they made a beeline for one another, and it was just hugs and backslaps and handshakes, and everything was right. Everything was right in the room. It was perfect. It was perfect. There was nothing weird. There was no pretense. They saw each other, and whether they were putting on airs or they were like, well, why am I here? Or that thing where you go, well, I'm just going to have a drink and I'll leave. It didn't fucking matter, because the second they saw one another, they were 15 years old. Vic in his fucking suit. Vic was wearing a black monochromatic look with a pink tie. And fucking at one point, he's at the bar, and Mex goes, who's that dude over there? And I said, where? And he goes, the one next to Silvio Dante at the bar. Because Vic looked like fucking Silvio from The Sopranos, like straight out of it. It made me laugh. But just seeing the looks on their faces was so worth even attending. It was just perfect. They went for each other, and they were just so happy in the moment. And it just brings you to a point where you go, wow, I shared a lot of time with these people, and so you're seeing people, and I would go and I saw this girl, Angela, and I started to go into different rooms, and I said hi to people, and I'm talking to them, and touching base and bringing Jill to meet people. And then if I did go away, Jill was with Linda and with Kristen, and just to see Jill accepted in with all of my friends, it made me so happy, because my friends have been here my whole life, and Jill will be here the rest of my life. So it made me happy. And I walked around and I met everybody, and I wanted to have weirdness to report. I wanted to come back here and tell you there was a whacked out story or something fucking happened. And no, man, no. It was the greatest. It was just the best night. I saw my friends. I saw people who used to be my friends, and I talked to all of them, and they talked to me as if we were adults, and there was nothing strange at all. And as it always happens, at the end of the night, I had gravitated over to my friends, and we were sitting at a couple of tables, and they were showing slides on the wall. You know, it was funny. Dennis got to be Dennis for Jill. Like he came over and he was just a dick. You know what I mean? And I had told her, I go, Dennis is kind of Dennis, but she rolled with it. It was great because he was just like he was busting her balls about being a Packer fan and stuff, and just because that's who he is. He has no pretense at all. He's a jagoff to everybody, but a friendly, fun jagoff who would do fucking anything in the world for you. And he was great to her. She was great to him. And Jill and I are finally sitting together with all my friends and looking at the slides on the wall. And, you know, periodically stuff would come up of me from when I was a kid at an amusement park or whatever. And you know, Jill's really good for my ego because something would come up and she'd just look at me with these wide eyes and she'd just be like, why did I not know you then? And I'm like, well, if you knew me then, you probably wouldn't be here now. And she's like, no, I would have never left your side. I would have never left your side. And I said, well, you never get to. And slides would come up and there was a picture of me and David. And so we actually went up and stood next to the slideshow, and people took photos of me and Dave now with me and Dave from the past in the back on the screen. And we went out for a group photo, and they, you know, they took this photograph, and Mex had designed, you know, they had all these old memorabilia things. It was really amazing. Like like I said, you know, I went there with the expectation of being able to bring back a story of oddness or weirdness, and it went great initially, and then everything went to hell. Well, no, man, nothing went to hell. I got to see people I hadn't seen in forever. I saw, there was a guy named Jim Utosh who I knew in school. I reconnected with him. He comes in, and he's just this big, like, Santa Claus looking dude. He's just, like, really friendly. He's got a drink in his hand, and I'm like, Jill, this is Jim Utosh. Oh, and he's laughing, and it's gregarious. We're having fun. And again, I didn't know Jim that well in school. I knew him to say hi. He was a burnout wearing flannel shirts and stuff, so I'd talk to him all the time, and he now sells cars in Bolingbrook, and he's doing really well and everything, and he's happy. He's just happy. So we go to the reunion. We're there. We just have an amazing time. And I had to duck out because, again, like I said, Jill had to be back because she had to work early. So, and I didn't get to say a proper goodbye even because I kept trying to say goodbye, and then you keep getting sucked into conversations with people. You know, I had Jim Miller and Jim Cosdren, and Jim Cosdren, by the way. I mean, these guys are really friendly and nice. I knew them in school, but now to see them now as men, you're talking to them, and it's just a different dynamic and a different relationship. Jim Cosdren he's another one who. He looks like the Winter Warlock from fucking the Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I mean, it's just like Jim's my age, but he looks like he should be in an oxygen tent. I mean, good for him, but oh my Christ. But he winds up talking to me, and I'm talking to Jim, and we kind of get caught in that loop of discussing things with them, which is great. I mean, it was just fun to catch up and talk. But, you know, when you're trying to make your way around the room and say goodbye, we're doing that, and we keep getting caught in these loops. So finally we head out to the car, and Mex runs out after me because I hadn't been able to say goodbye to him. And he's like, are you taking off? I go, yeah, you know, Jill's got to work and stuff. He's like, oh, all right. And he's like, well, nice to see you. And she said goodbye. We get in the car, and I drove her home. And she fell asleep in the car, which she won't do that. It's funny. Whenever we're driving any long distances, she won't sleep. She's like, no, I'm fine. I'm okay. To see her fall asleep was really cute. And people have asked me to talk about the reunion as if there was going to be some terrible thing to tell you. And I got to be honest, man, no, there was nothing terrible to tell you. It was just the best time. I will tell you, it brought into focus everything I've been thinking over the past year about how, you know, you're 47 and things need to change. You need to figure out who you are, and you need to figure out what you want to do. And, you know, like I said, my goals have changed. I always wanted to be famous. I wanted to be this different guy. But now, if I can just do what I want to do, which is this show, or if I can write, or if I can go perform and get paid adequately enough to where I can be with Jill forever, that's all I want. I just want to be happy. You know, I just want to be happy. And, you know, you're running out of time. You just are. You know, it's my 30th reunion, and I mean, I don't know if I'll go to a 40th. I hope I'll make a 40th, you know what I mean? But if Jill and I want to go to the 40th, we will. Because, again, though, you're running out of time. About a month ago, you know, I reconnected with a ton of people. And so, of course, Facebook is America's yearbook. So everybody friends me, and I friend them, and they find me. And as a matter of fact, like Rich Balsitas listens to the show now. And he started to write me like every week as he was listening to the show. And then he's like, I got to apologize, man, if you don't want me writing you. And I went like, fuck that. Write me, dude. It's awesome. I'm glad that he's on board and listening. And I'm glad that he likes it. I'm glad that he thinks it's funny. Just this past week, a girl named Debbie, who I had no clue was even, I mean, we're friends on Facebook, and I saw her at my 20th. I didn't see her at the 30th. And she made a comment on my page about how she was laughing so hard at the opening of the show, and she just couldn't drive because she was like in tears. And I'm like, man, I didn't even know you were listening. I had no clue, none. And that's great. It's amazing to me because, again, like I said, these are people that had a real effect on me at a formative time in my life. And that's why it was important for me to bring Jill to meet these people, because she's going to be around forever. So why not let her meet the people who were there early and are going to be here with us late? Because you're running out of time. So I reconnected with these people on Facebook. And so I keep getting their updates. People are looking for photos, and people are trying to, it's that thing that happens when you have a 30th reunion or a 20th reunion. You go, we got to do this more often. That was a really great time. Not recognizing the fact that, maybe we get together every 10 years for a reason, possibly. If you started to see each other every week, the specialness of the 30th year reunion probably wouldn't be that great. And you're just going to be a lot of you again, I recognize the effort and I respect it, but at the same time, maybe you let it breathe. Maybe you let it breathe. But a lot of the people that are still in the Midwest have been writing one another on Facebook. And we got to do this. Let's go to a bar every Friday together, and let's have fun, and let's go sing, and let's dance, and let's be friends. And good for them. If they can do that, good for them. I hope it works out. I hope they can keep the specialness of seeing these people and never get tired of it. So I see them constantly updating and asking people to go out. And about a month ago, someone posted that, hey, is this true? I just heard that Jim Utosh died. And I saw that and I was like, oh, come on, that doesn't make any sense. And so I went into Facebook and I went to Jim's page, and he had posted something like the day before about going to the hospital. And there was going to be like a checkup because he had had a heart attack previously. And because when we talked, he told me all about his heart condition and his heart attack, but he was fine. He was in good spirits. He was laughing and he was joking. And I go to his page, and he was going to the hospital, and then the next day, he's dead. And so then, of course, the public mourning starts of people like, "Oh my God, I just saw him. Oh, he was so alive. I can't believe that this happened." And I digested a lot of that, and I read it, and I went and I looked. But I can believe it happened. Because that's what fucking happens. You're here and then you're gone. And that's why it's important to know that you're running out of time. Every second you live is a second you will never live again. You're running out of time. So you have to do everything you can to be happy in the amount of time you have left. And you don't know how much time you have left. You have no idea if you'll be checking into the hospital tomorrow with a cold and then not coming out. You asked me earlier, you were like, what's your ideal Thanksgiving? What would your, you know what? I would just want my hand in my girlfriend's hand, sitting in a fireplace in a cabin somewhere with an outdoor hot tub. And this is shit I would never, ever want in my life. Ever. I would have never thought about going to the woods or going and doing, but that's, that's what would I want? I would want to be with my girlfriend, and I would want to be happy. And I hope the same for all of you. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. Our friend David Hernandez does all of the music and all of the artwork for the show, and he will make a Silvio Dante joke in the moment that will fucking knock you on your ass. You should go ahead and be his friend at Facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez. But if you'd like him to do some artwork for you with the holidays coming up, you can contact him at artbydmh.com, ARTBYDMH.com. He has done tons of paintings for people. He will, whatever you need, you reach out to him, and if it's something he can do and he's willing to do it, and his special talents can be brought to bear, he will absolutely do it for you. Go to artbydmh.com, ARTBYDMH.com. I warn you, you need to be able to afford the man because he is good. Our friend Lily Von Stupp is here. She's the producer of this show and a great friend of mine, and I thank her for tolerating me and my nonsense every single week. You can find her at several different Twitter accounts, twitter.com/MNTs, twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, and twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest. You can be her friend at facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. But if you'd like to write her a personal note and ask her why she was so mean to me yesterday when I texted I was sick, you can get her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Did you know the 4-year-old boy got arrested for punching a monkey?
Hello there. This is professional television personality Paul Gilmartin, and you're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. Podcasting is so cute. Have I mentioned I'm on television?
Ladies and gentlemen, with a phrase from the past of the 40-year-old boy, Mr. Tony Bennett.
So give me a math book, and I will do an equation that blows your ass out. Mensa smartasses.
I was stretching. I was all achy and sore. Hey, want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas. Well, because I was all like, and then you like pointed at me like, dude, I'm in the middle of stretching. You don't care about my illness at all. You just don't care.
I do.
You exploit me.
I offered to bring you soup and meds.
24 hours later, I texted you yesterday morning, and what did you? All right, let's do a little theater play, shall we? Here was the text to Lily.
Read your text and then I'll read mine.
Okay, 9:30 a.m. Here's what I texted. Don't kill me. You up and around? And then no answer. So then, 20 minutes later, you may still be sleeping. I'm sick. Headache, body, and joint aches, can't stop shivering. It feels like when I had food poisoning. After 5 minutes, my trainer sent me home from the gym. I'm going to take my temp, take some ibuprofen, and lay down for a bit. Won't make 11, but hoping to still make today. I know this inconveniences you. That's obviously not my intent, and I apologize. Let me know our safety net. If no show today, can we go tomorrow, etc. Again, I apologize. Okay. What did you text?
At 9:55, when I woke up and got the message, I wrote, "What time tomorrow? I don't want you here sick. I'm going back to bed."
And that was it?
Yeah. What was I supposed
What time
to write?
tomorrow? I don't want you here sick. I'm going back to bed.
No, I said, "What time tomorrow? I don't want you here sick. I'm going back to bed."
You know what's not in there at all? Oh, man, I'm sorry you're sick. I hope you feel better. Not at all.
And
What
then-
time tomorrow? I
and
don't
then
want you
what
here
did
sick.
And then what did you write back to me?
Shooting for 11 o'clock tomorrow. I'll keep you posted.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So at 2:30, when I woke back up,
6 hours later.
I was sick too. I went back to sleep. I wrote, "Kay, feeling better?"
Hmm.
Nothing. Then an hour and a half later, feeling better?
Because I was sleeping,
Nothing.
trying to get better.
And then an hour later, you wrote back.
I am. Fever was 102.5, down to 100. Tomorrow should work.
Then I wrote, "Do you need anything? I can bring soup, smiley face, meds."
This is 7 hours after I initially told you I was sick. You know when I needed soup and meds? In the morning, when you were saying, "I'm going back to bed. I don't want you here sick. What time tomorrow, jerk?"
I was sick too, so I went back to bed. And I never called you a jerk. But you didn't read the next one, which is my favorite.
Go ahead. I put my phone away. I've stated my case. I
No,
win.
Thanks. I'm lucky it isn't sinus or throat stuff, just a headache, fever, and total body aches. Me eating 4 layers, sitting it out. I think I'll be okay.
Wait,
Wearing, not
here.
me. Eating, so random. Sweating, not seating. Kill me.
Wait, so you're reading my typos on the air?
And then I wrote, "LOL, feel better. Go back to sleep."
7 hours after you should have said feel better.
Oh my God.
You didn't want me to
Such a
feel better.
whiny baby.
You didn't want. Well, dude, because I got nobody to be nice to me when I'm sick.
I was very nice. I offered to bring you stuff.
I'm going back to bed. Don't come over if you're sick, jerk. Okay. Sorry. I always tell you I hope you're okay when you go and do your dances. Shut up, jerk. Okay.
I don't think jerk was anywhere, nor was
It's totally in there. It's totally in there. But then you start me today and people hear me going, because I said out early because I'm all achy. Like my fever went away. But I am lucky because it didn't go full blown like sinus and throat, but it felt like food poisoning because I've had food poisoning so many fucking times. It just that thing where your whole body gets fucking achy and weak. And I went to do leg presses yesterday. Dude, I got up and I could not stop shivering. It was like chattering teeth and craziness. So I wore a hoodie to the gym, and John's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Dude, I can't." And he was like, because I was like, and he's like, "Dude, you got to go home." I go, "I'm all right." I go, "Because if I don't see you now, you're gone for a week, and then I'm fat, so I need to work out." And he's like, "Well, let's start over here on leg presses," and I couldn't do it. I did 2 reps, and then I have no juice at all. He goes, "Go home, go lay down." And I'm like, all right. I mean, I felt like a dick, but I mean, and also made him come to the gym to meet me. I should have just fucking called it off. But and you know what's funny is I get sick just before Thanksgiving, and then also I get sick when my primary care physician is now out of my plan on my fucking health insurance. So I won't get to see him again until January 1st because it's open enrollment. So I had to switch my plan to the one that he's in. So I don't even know, like I'd have to go see some fake doctor now, and I don't want to see a fucking fake doctor and then the files. And it's like, dude, all I want is a fucking vitamin B shot and a smile, and maybe from one of my friends to tell me that she hopes I feel better in a text. That's all I need to make me feel better. But then I didn't get any of that. But now I'm all achy. Oh, world's tiniest violin? I would do that, but my fingers hurt. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm achy. It's weird. It's like my neck and back. You know what hurts? Dude. Look at you. And very tasteful, by the way, when I talk about my friend Jim dying. All right, so good for you. My good friend. You know what really hurts? I will be honest, my lungs. Isn't that weird? Like when I breathe, like my ribs and my lungs hurt, and so it makes me think I have pneumonia, but I don't have pneumonia because a bunch of other stuff would have happened to me, right?
You could have the walking pneumonia.
I had that, and that's not fucking good at all.
The boogie flu.
You think so? I may have the rockin' pneumonia. No, it turns out, actually, did I ever tell that joke on here? I tweeted it. I said, thought I had the rockin' pneumonia and the boogie woogie flu. Turns out I have the bluegrass lupus and the classical AIDS.
The classical AIDS.
Oh, the bluegrass lupus and the classical AIDS. All right, so, hi. I'm Mike. I'm sick. So yeah, I'm trying to be all stretchy, but it's like I'm in pain, like my neck, and Jill's gonna make fun of me because I say ow. God damn it. She's always like, honey, because I'll say ow, and she's like, you're not really hurt, honey. You don't have to say ow. And I'm like, but it's just like a disclaimer. Like you just say it, like wunderbar. You know what I mean? You just say ow. I don't know who sells wunderbar when they're injured. It happens a lot of times. A lot of German workmen when they were hitting like nails and they hit their thumb with a hammer. Wunderbar. That's what they did. Idiot. So, I wanted to remind you folks about the Monday Night Tease. That's the longest running show in the history of Los Angeles Burlesque. It's the hottest. It's the most amazing show. It's so great. It's unbelievable. It's every Monday night. And I happen to know the producer of that show, folks. It's at the 3 Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica, produced by my good friend, Lily Von Stoop. Hi, Lily. How are you?
Hi, Mike.
So this week was a big show.
Oh, yeah.
It was the Prince show, the erotic titty show.
Yes.
How did it go?
It was spectacular.
Was it real and spectacular? So you're saying the erotic titties are real and spectacular?
Yes. Yes. It was amazing. We were jam-packed. People had a great time. It was standing room only.
Now you were business Lily, right?
I was.
You did not host.
I did not. I turned my part over to the lovely Heather Henderson from the No God Band.
The Double H. The Double H.
She sang. She stripped. She was truly funnier than I was in the role in a different way.
I see. Well, then you can't say funnier. She was just differently
Well,
entertaining.
she was funnier in a different way. I'm funny in a sexy, dopey way. She was funny in an ingenue kind of cute role.
I see.
So it was that we played the characters similar but different.
Cool.
So
Nice.
It was fun.
And you had a full house, I understand.
I did.
Packed to the rafters.
I did.
And our friend Lux came in and did the act that she's famous for. One of the acts she's
Tore
famous
the
for.
house down.
Sounds good. And then was our friend Carmel Knowledge there?
She was.
Was she all purple?
Yes, she was.
That's her
She
deal.
was the purple one.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it was fun and exciting, and I honestly I've been to it. I wish I could have attended, but I was working and things like that. Let's talk about this now.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Let's talk about sex.
Do you think I'm a nasty girl?
It's
Nasty
weird
girl?
that you would ask that question.
Nasty girl. Do you think I'm a nasty girl? Or like I'm a sex shooter?
Shooting love in my direction?
We're gonna do them all.
Shooting love in my direction?
Yeah. Let's stop now.
All right. If a man answers, don't hang up. All right, so
Hold on. There's a meeting in the ladies' room.
I will be back real soon. I miss you. I had that Climax album. I had that album. I got those songs, but I mean, I had that album as a kid. I had that cassette.
I had the cassette of that as well.
Don't slap me. Because I'm not in the mood. Here's my question to the people from Climax. When are you in the mood to get slapped? I mean, look, I understand, yes, sometimes I am, and it depends on where we're at. But I mean, in the context of that song, don't slap me. Because I'm not in the mood. So the big show was fun. And so this week there's another show of incredible importance.
There is.
At the 3 clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. The Monday Night Teas presents...
It's
Meat Fest. Meat Fest 8, I think.
Yes, Meat Fest 8.
Meat Fest 8-inch, I believe.
I decided not to go with that. I decided to go with the holiday theme instead of Dick the Halls.
Perfect. Nice. So it's a bunch of dudes taking their clothes off.
Yeah.
So there's no way I could be far enough away from that venue on Monday.
It's a Jingle Balls kind of show.
It's a Mike's never coming to that show kind of show.
Meetings. I did them all.
You're doing it all. That's perfect.
Terrible. I put about 40 of them out. I'm like, the worst hashtags ever.
Well, good though. I'm glad. So the Meat Fest. Who's performing at Meat Fest?
Who isn't?
Well, I can tell you, I'm not.
Finish is coming in from Arizona. Tito Benito's performing. Mr. Snapper's performing. Dr. Lust is performing. Patrick the Bank Robber is emceeing. Little Ralphie's performing.
I gotta be honest. Again, I don't know what Meat Fest is going for. But I do know that I probably wouldn't book a guy named Little Ralphie.
Well, he's my Christmas act.
Ah, I see.
He comes out in the pink bunny suit.
Okay. Well, don't give it away.
And then he shoots your eye out.
Ah, that Little Ralphie. I see.
It's fucking hysterical.
Nice.
Who else is in the show? Oh my God. Robin Switch is doing an act from the Book of Mormon. Oh my Christ, it's funny.
Nice.
And sexy. I can't. There's more. There's a bunch. We've got like 10 acts. Oh, Christopher Hogworth is there. He's doing a magic act.
Okay.
Amazing. But it's an all around sausage fest, man. There's meat everywhere.
That's Meat Fest at the 3 clubs at Vine on Santa Monica, or on Vine at Santa Monica.
Vine at Santa Monica.
And that's our friend Lily Von Stubb. She will tell you that you can go to brownpapertickets.com and purchase tickets for that event or for any of the events coming up at the 3 clubs there with all the Monday Night Teases. You can go to facebook.com/Monday Night Teas and become a friend of the show. Find out about who's coming and learn who's going to be there and see all of the shows that are coming and all the photos from the previous shows. Those are worth seeing. So you can go ahead and check those out. It'll be fantastic. And then go to Meat Fest and have a good time and tell Lily that you would like to perform in next year's Meat Fest if you think you've got the goods. That's right. Lily will personally inspect them. No, yes. No, yes.
I'm not very good at the casting couch because I always book people and then ask if I can sleep with them.
Well, yeah, but also you don't get to the fucking couch. You're like the casting stand up in a doorway. So
Stand up in the ladies' room.
yeah. Well,
I'm the casting pinball machine.
that's who you are. All right. Jacques. All right. Well, good, man. So that's going to be fantastic. Meat Fest. And there's other shows coming up in December. There's Christmas, right? And
there's a Christmas show. We're doing a Toys for Tots show. Eddie's hosting because he was a Marine, and we're doing a whole toy theme show.
I respect you for not calling it Toys for Tits.
Thank you. Nikki, or Toys for Twats, right?
Oh, my Christ.
Nikita Bitch Project is celebrating her birthday on the 15th, and we have a Japanese theme show.
Okay. I will tell you this. If I was loaded rich, like if I won the Powerball or somehow I had some windfall of cash, first of all, I didn't even know Toys for Tots still existed. But I would do everything I could to make it great everywhere. Like I would want to be involved. I wouldn't want to just give them money, because I said when I was a kid, one of the greatest moments of my life was going to a Toys for Tots thing and getting to pick a gift. And I got battling tops, and it's one of my favorite Christmas gifts I've ever received. And there were bikes and all sorts of different stuff. You got called with a raffle, but if you got your number called, you could go up and I picked battling tops, and to this day, just like Kiss Alive 2, one of my favorite Christmas gifts of all time, because again, it's just dude. Just help kids. Honestly, there's all these charity about saving whales and helping dogs and all these other. But dude, fucking just give kids money. Just that's all I want to do. You know what I want to do? I don't even want to like give kids shelter or homes. I just want to give them cash.
Well, that doesn't seem like a bright idea.
No, because then that's perfect. Because then they just live their little lives with as much cash as they possibly can, and then they die in a gutter somewhere because they lived the best that they could.
Kids
No, I'll hire them bodyguards. Dude, I'll totally have like a fleet of dudes who have to guard them and stuff, and then they'll be like these boy kings who will go ahead and spend as much money as they possibly can wherever they want. That's the whole deal. Because here's the thing. Normally I would want to take a kid and go like, hey, dude, let's go buy you a bunch of stuff, but then I'd look like a weirdo Michael Jackson pedophile dude. Like, I just want to hand a kid fucking 10 grand and go, there you go, live it up, and have a dude escort him around and he can go buy whatever he wants. If he wants to buy $10,000 worth of tacos, he can. He wants to buy $10,000 worth of ice cream, he can. If he wants to buy penny candy for 10 grand, go ahead. Drown in Smarties the rest of your fucking life. I want kids to just be fucking important. Kids should just feel important. And if you hand a kid a bunch of cash, maybe he'll feel important. Kids should never be marginalized. They should never be made to second best. They should never be looked askance or looked upon as a burden. They should just always, cancer wards, fucking Toys for Tots. Those kids, you should reach out to children and just make sure everything is great for them all the time, right? Because wouldn't that help later on? Because if you made sure that everything was great, wouldn't they go, oh man, I remember when I had a mentor or somebody who fucking actually reached out and cared? Because kids who don't have anybody who care for them, that's just this fucking terrible, terrible recipe for disaster. People protest and people get upset and they get angry about all sorts of different things. And yes, I'm on a stupid soapbox, but goddamn, and it sounds so stupid, like I believe the children are our future and all this bullshit. But I just want kids to feel important, man. Shouldn't kids feel important?
Have you talked with Shannon about this?
No, not yet.
I think you should forward
I'll
her this
put it in the big
podcast.
scrapbook. It's just, kids shouldn't be a fucking afterthought. Ever. How many times have you seen families out and like the adults are talking around their phones? Jill and I, it drives us crazy. We'll go out to events or functions, or we were at Disneyland and parents are on their phones and their kids are just kind of aimlessly walking. They're at Disneyland, but they're not experiencing Disneyland with their parent. Their parent is fucking surfing Facebook while this kid is like, well, I guess we can wait in line for this ride. I mean, it's nothing, there's nothing special about it. Engage your kid. Like when I went to the zoo, I told you it was just parents on fucking phones and kids running around like jagoffs and being unsupervised. And look, if that kid's got 10 grand, then go ahead and be unsupervised and have fun. That's fine.
Those were all children with 10 grand.
Were they really? They're buying
were
animals?
buying monkeys.
Sure they were. Dude, I would totally buy a monkey if I had 10 grand. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't pay the whole 10 grand for the monkey. I'd try to talk the guy down. That's got to be a special ass monkey if you want 10 grand for him.
What is the going rate on a monkey right now?
I don't know. I'll have to look. Do we have going rate at amonkey.com? We should buy that.
What does a monkey...
How much do monkeys cost?
Siri, what does a monkey cost? Cost of a pet monkey.
Here's what I found on the web for what does a monkey cost.
How much should a pet monkey cost?
All right, so we're looking this up, but let me ask you this, because this is going to be the second thing we're going to look up.
Uh-huh.
How much is that doggy in the window? Not him, the one with the waggedy tail.
Various species of monkeys ranging in size from about 1 to 3 feet tall are kept as pets. Chosen for their intelligence and companionship, it's for these 3 characteristics that a primate is both challenging and a rewarding pet. Typical costs. Monkeys cost between $4,000 and $8,000 each, depending on the age, rarity, and temperament.
Temperament?
Holy crap.
You know what? I'm gonna have to sit in a conference room with this monkey and have a long talk before I pay any money for him. I got to find out if he's my speed. I got to find a monkey who's my speed.
I can't believe there's a website that tells
You know what?
how
Fuck
to-
that 3 foot tall monkey though. That's kind of creepy. I don't want that. I want a fucking pirate monkey who sits on my shoulder. You know what I mean? I want a little rascals monkey who like operates the boxing glove as me and Spanky drive around and hit people. You know what I mean? I want that kind of monkey. I want a fun monkey. God damn
They're
it!
going to be more expensive.
They're going to be totally non-expensive.
Fun monkeys cost more.
No, it's all height. The entire monkey economy is height based.
I don't think so.
So if you want to buy a 3 foot monkey, then it's $8 grand. You want to get smaller, you go $4 grand. Perfect. And everybody's like, oh, monkeys totally misbehave. I'm going to get that monkey and he's going to be like, great, fuck, another organ. I'm going to go, no organ. You and I equals. Let's hang out. And he's going to be like, dude, I'm totally in. And then I'll dress him in a little clothes like me. And it'll be fucking perfect. That'll be so great.
You're going to get him a white shirt with a purple and an orange.
He's going to have a Calvin Klein shirt that he's never going to fit in, but it doesn't matter. He's going to wear it.
Holy crap.
Let me ask this, and I'm dead serious. If I showed up and I had a monkey dressed just like me, what would you do? You'd just be like, you'd do a somersault. You'd be so happy.
I would laugh hysterically and tell you both to leave.
No, you would jump up and down and call all your friends, and you would take as many photos as you possibly could.
I have a friend that has a pet monkey. I want nothing to do
I don't
with
care
it.
about that person. I'm talking about me
I
and
want
a
nothing
matching
to do
suit.
with a pet monkey. As cute as I think it would be,
Dude, a spider monkey on my shoulder dressed just like me.
Horrible.
You know what? Oh my God, he doesn't get to ride on my shoulder. You know what he's going to do? This is going to be even better. Spider monkey dressed just like me, holding my hand. Oh, how awesome. We're totally walking. He's on the ground and I have to reach down and hold his hand and we walk around like pals. God damn it.
I think your Thanksgiving just got better.
I think it did.
Jill and a-
Certainly. Well, it's full of research. I can tell you that.
You, Jill, and a monkey.
Jill, make room in that cabin. We'll be in the outdoor hot tub. The monkey's inside popping Jiffy Pop on the fire. I love it. Me and the monkey in a smoking jacket, hiding a pipe. I love it. Dude, if I showed up with a fucking a same clad monkey, you'd go insane. Yeah, you would.
I would not.
No, you would high five me and high five the monkey simultaneously. We'd have a 3-way high five. We'd have a 15. 5 each. 5 each. Come on, keep up.
Oh, I get it.
So the Monday Night Tease is a great show.
No monkeys.
Nah, no, you know what? That's why we got to tell people there are monkeys, and then they'll show up.
No monkeys, just men.
Dude, nope. There you go. No monkeys, just men. Dude, do a Planet of the Apes themed strip show and call it No Monkeys, Just Men.
No.
Yes. Rise of the dawn of the spirit of the Planet of the Apes. Dear Liza, dear Liza. All right, so what are we talking about? We're talking about that stuff. Monday Night Tease. You go to facebook.com/Monday Night Tease. You go to the brown paper tickets. You go all there. You go to whatisamonkeycost.com. Find out all the information. Boy, now I want to wear that Calvin Klein shirt. Now I want to wear it somewhere. I got to throw it on, but it's going to be all blousy.
You can wear it to hobo Thanksgiving since it doesn't fit.
Oh,
you
yeah, that's the
right. It'll be
thing.
very
No,
cool.
because then one of your goofy friends role-playing will burn a cigar hole in it and I'll have to beat him to death.
Why would they be role playing with a cigar?
Because they're dumb fucks. They're like, oh, this is what a hobo does.
Talk about my friends this way.
Well, just some of them. As they get their wash tub and their spoons and their ukulele and they sing a song about hopping a train car and oh my God, get the fuck out of here. Seriously. I cannot eat cold Brussels sprouts with you people. Jesus Christ.
Delicious.
Ching, 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 ching. Let's go and dance the dance of the dancers. Shut the fuck up. Jump off a bridge. I wrote this ukulele song. No, you didn't. You didn't at all. You just stop. Stop. Get over here and join us on Jug. I refuse. I will not be talked into a Jug participation.
So what are you going to do tomorrow? Sit home alone in your apartment and cry?
No, I'm actually going to come to Hobo Thanksgiving and watch from afar.
With a monkey in the
Yep.
tree?
I'm in the bushes just looking. Oh, man. I wish I was over there having fun. Ting, 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 ting. No. Here's what I'm doing tomorrow. As a matter of fact, I was invited to my good friend Pat's house. That's what I was saying. It was like, I don't, I didn't have any plans. Last year I did nothing. And then this year, Pat's like, hey, we would really love if you came for dinner. And I thought that was really nice and very cool of him. So I'm going to be at his place tomorrow for dinner.
Are you taking the monkey?
Let's keep it quiet. I don't want to get this invitation yanked out from under me just yet. He just got a cat. I don't know if cats and monkeys get along. Well, no, actually, the monkey has to stay home and cook our dinner. Then I come back. It's like, oh my God. I need a monkey. All right, so I just love it. Just the idea of it. I can't even take care of myself. I was sick. Still sick. Ow. Folks, let me tell you this. If you go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, you can go to the Joe Business page. What do you give me?
I love you.
Was that Theraflu?
Yeah.
One time I was on the road doing stand-up. I probably told that story on here. And I got hammered by the flu. And I was going through the Dakotas. And I would check into the hotel, go up to the room at like noon. And I would guzzle like 2 Theraflus and sleep until 7. And then take a shower, go do the show, come back to the room, drink Theraflu and sleep till the next morning. Like it was, because last night, I'll tell you, my fever started to fade. It was still like 99 late. And then when I went to bed, I was just, all day I spent in, boxer briefs, Spider-Man pants, sweatpants, socks, a hoodie, a turtleneck, a t-shirt. Like I had 6 fucking layers on and under blankets. And then when I went to bed, I just wrapped myself burrito style, just fucking laid there. And I woke up and you could have wrung out my sheets today. I sweat it all out, but it was grim. I mean, I don't even know. And it's like I said, I'm sore now. It's probably just from sweating and stuff, but yeah. But I don't think Theraflu will help. Whatever. I don't know. I have no idea. What am I talking? I'm 47. I have no idea how to take care of myself. I don't. I mean, and that's why I reached out to my friend and she's like, I'm going back to bed, jerk. So go to Joe Business. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and go to the Joe Business page. Now, folks, we've redone the Joe Business page. I probably should have mentioned this earlier in the show. It is really cool. It is a Depression era type of theme where Little Schmitty is selling some pencils and he's selling some apples.
On that page, I'm
There may
sure.
be a hobo. And then there's, of course, hot ladies with sandwich boards. And there are links you can follow to buy a bunch of stuff. You can buy the Big Angry CD, which I will sign and send out to you. You can buy a Yurt Dirt Dirt shirt, like the one I'm about to send to our friend Alex Reinhardt today, who purchased one. Thank you, Alex. Out there in Minnesota. What if I gave his whole address? And then there's also, you can get the tweakedaudio.com stuff from them, autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds and cock ring watches. We have, of course, downloads that you can get. You got year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, and year 6 of this podcast available individually or together as the Reservoir Schmidt Dogs box set. So go ahead and pick that up. That's great. We have artwork, of course, that is amazing artwork created by David Hernandez that will be signed by Lily and David and myself. We will get that out to you so you can frame it eventually, I promise. And I don't know what else what else we have there for sale. We have the Big Angry and the Yurt Dirt Dirt, and we have oh yeah, that's right, Schmidt Alive 2 is available on that page right now. Thank you for those of you who have stepped up. This is me live from the 2014 Los Angeles Podcast Festival, Podfest, if you will. And it is a $10 package of video and audio. So you can sit at your computer and stare at me, or you can take me in your ears and take me on the run, baby, if that's the way you want it, baby. Because you don't want me around. But that's, look, I don't believe it. Not for a minute. You're under the gun, so you're taking me on the run. But that's fine. Go ahead and do that. But you can watch me as well. You can, right in front of your naked, steaming eyes, as my friend David Lee Roth would say, you can see me jumping around on stage and yelling. So go ahead and pick up Schmidt Alive 2 right now, today. And thank you to all the people who have stepped up. And let's talk about this for just a second. There are people, you can donate to the show. Okay, if you sign up to donate, it's $2 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, or $25 a month. Well, $25 a month donors, I sent them Schmidt Alive 2 as a complimentary package to thank them for their subscriptions, and I appreciate it. And they all paid. Like they don't have to do that. I was trying to be nice, and then they've not all of them. I have not heard from Joel. I'll mention Joel's name because Joel listens, and I know that. But yeah, because Joel hasn't even downloaded it yet, I don't think. So it's like I just want to make sure I have the right email address, Joel. But other people have paid after the fact, and then they wrote me and they go, I pay, I support. That's what I do, which is amazing. It is. It's incredible, and you don't have to do that. Thank you. I wanted to do something nice and reach out, and I mean, all I have to offer is my voice, or me, or whatever, and seriously, well, I mean, it's it. These people are giving money and keeping us afloat and doing the best they can, and I have just that. So I'd like to give it to you. Thank you so much for being on board. So Schmidt Alive 2 is available now. You can purchase the download set, and it'll be sent to you post haste, and then you can spend your Thanksgiving watching me with your family. Oh, won't that be fun? I'm wearing a brown shirt. That's very Thanksgiving, I think. Do what I say. Yeah, I should have a hashtag Mike's Monkey Fund. You buy, the more stuff you buy, come on, think of the hijinks. Think of the amazing stuff that'll happen if I get a monkey, folks. Buy as much stuff as you possibly can. Buy a bunch of Schmidt Alive 2s, and I pledge to you that I will buy a monkey. And then think of all the cool stuff I'll do, and I'll tell you stories about it. It'll be totally fun. Like me with a monkey and having adventures. I talked about that on here before with BJ and the Bear. Guy in a fucking truck having an adventure with a monkey. Stupid. All right, so happy Thanksgiving. I'm going to go. Yeah, Lily, I have to get out of her house because she's got to cook something. She still doesn't know what she's going to cook for tomorrow, and I have to get ready for Pat's. I have to go home and sleep. I got to go to the post office and send Alex Reinhardt his shirt, actually. Oh, was it? You know what? I totally forgot to plug this. Let's do this. On the page, on the Joe Business page, there's the Amazon link. Remember? The Amazon link, and if you click on the Amazon link and then click through to the Amazon store, anything you buy will give us credit, and it'll be perfect. And like I said, if you ever buy stuff, you can write me, and I will talk about it on the show. So let's do this really quickly. I have lists and stuff, but I will bring this up. Here's our friend Ruben, and Ruben says, "Feel free to say as much or as little of my name as you wish." So I'll say, "Here's our friend R." I just say the first letter. No, it's our friend. It's our friend Ruben Cohen, and Ruben Cohen. Here's what he bought. He bought books using the Amazon link. He bought a book called "How to Be Both" by Ali Smith, and then he bought "The First Bad Man," which is the debut novel from the great filmmaker Miranda July. So So those of you out there who are like, you don't have any smart fans. I got a smart fan right here, Ruben Cohen. He's buying books for fuck's sake. Casey Murphy's buying tap shoes. I got fucking Ruben buying books. He's got to sit down and read those, folks. He has to actually pay attention to those. That's Ruben Cohen. I will say as much or as little of his name as I want to. Okay, Ruco. That's what I'll call him, Ruco. Why did I give a guy a nickname? So go to the Amazon store and you buy stuff there. And I'll tell you what, it's really important with Black Friday too. If you get the Black Friday stuff coming up, click through and buy stuff with our link, and it just credits the show and it makes things great for us. And we're really happy and thank you. And Black Friday is a big deal, as some of you know. As I will talk about this. A friend of the show, Heidi Miller, who I've seen at Podfest, and I knew her from Indiana. Well, I didn't know her from Indiana. She knew me from Never Not Funny, and then I met her. Nobody cares. Why do you want the backstory of Heidi? Go by year 3 when I went to Indianapolis and she gave me she made a Biscoff cake for me and fucking awesome French toast casserole. Oh my God. Here's all you need to know about Heidi. She went and bought me White Castle in the middle of the night from a supermarket and I turned them down because I'm a dick. Go buy that year 3 or whatever it was. Year 4? Year 5. Buy them all. But Heidi, to her, man, like, I mentioned Black Friday and I've gone out on Black Friday before. I went to Best Buy to buy a bunch of stuff once. Fuck, I'll tell that story on here sometime. But I just want to tell you about Heidi. Heidi looks at Black Friday like it's a sport. Like Heidi and 4 of her friends get together and they wear shirts with messages on them to people like, don't fuck with us, it's Black Friday. Like really mean stuff. Not really mean. She's not in the Pink Ladies. But literally they'll wear these Black Friday shirts and they go and shop. And I've said to her, I don't understand how you can fucking do that. And she's just like, well, it's fun. It's totally awesome. We go out, they love shopping and they love crowds and they love violence. So there you go. It's perfect for them. Heidi's very violent. When I was in Indianapolis, punched a woman in the face at the bar who tried to get in horn on our table. She did. Knocked her right in the face. Heidi's rough. She's a tooth chipper. She doesn't fuck around. She did. She may have. It might have been her. It might have been somebody else. Might have never happened. But still, if it was going to happen, it was going to be Heidi.
She seems so nice.
Yeah, until you cross her. Black Friday, you get an elbow in the mush, right in the mush. But then that seems like it would be kind of fun if you went with friends and you teamed up and had like a battalion, right? And you just kind of became a crazy shopping Voltron and you went on each other's shoulders and stuff. That'd be fun.
I don't like shopping when it's not a hard shopping day.
You know what? Jill doesn't like shopping either because I always say that I want to go shopping and I take pictures. I told you at Walmart and I send them to her and she's just like, hey, I'm glad you're the shopper in the relationship. And I'm like, what is that? I don't know what that means. Did you just call me a sissy? I think that's what you just did.
No, she called you a shopper.
Same thing, basically.
No, it doesn't mean you're a sissy. It just means you're weird.
Okay, that seems odd and ridiculous. Thank you. But I would go out on Black Friday. Here's why. You know what I do? I go out on Black Friday and then I shop all night. And after a hard night, I go to Wendy's and I have breakfast. That's how I work it. Wendy's, do they still serve breakfast? I don't know what they did. They did when I worked there. One time at Wendy's on a Sunday, I had to work 6 to 2. So I get there at 6 a.m. and I'm on the burger machine. It was so bad. It's like those burgers are square. They make them fresh. I don't know how other fucking fast food joints do it if they get their burgers and frozen. I don't know. But at Wendy's, they have a machine. You have to put big 30-pound blocks of ground beef in the top, and it goes shunk, shunk, and it shoots out square burger with paper, and it stacks 10, and you have to take that stack and put it in a tray, thunk, thunk, and you have to do this for hours because you have to have burgers for the entire day, and they do it fresh every morning. So it's just the most tedious. You're covered in blood, your hands, and you just smell like meat. I mean, it is so gross. But this one Sunday, it's the only good day I ever had at Wendy's. I was there and breakfast ended and I got my break at like 10:30 or 10:45. And again, you will laugh because this is truly a fat guy's paradise. I mean, there's no doubt it's only a fat guy who would see this as great. We were switching over from breakfast to lunch. So I got all of the leftover breakfast food for my break for free because they were just going to throw it out. So I had like 8 orders of French toast sticks. I just started piling this tray with all of this food, like all of it, like biscuits, whatever I didn't even remember what the fuck they had, but I know I had to 2-hand my tray and carry it out to the fucking to the back and eat it. And I was just this fat guy shoving food in my mouth and eating the eggs and eating everything that they had for breakfast. I just mowed through it. And I could not. I literally remember going, like exhaling, going, I've never been this happy in my life. Certainly not at a Wendy's. I could not be happier. It was crazy because it was just all of this free food. And it was a way to, because again, I just ate away my frustrations and I ate away my anger and I ate away my hatred. So I was miserable working at Wendy's. And there's a lot, if you want to know, well, you heard Schmitty Comes Alive, you know I was miserable working at Wendy's. I would tell you to buy it, but it's no longer for sale. You missed it. You missed your window. But if no, we took it off
Why?
because we released it for free. And
Oh, that's
whenever,
right.
yeah, once I put it out as a show, I was like, well, and some people bought it after, but I felt like kind of a dick. Which is stupid, right? You should just still offer it if someone wants to buy it.
Available.
Yeah, I'm ridiculous. I like a clean plate. I like a clean page. But yeah, so I mean, I just remember the relief I felt as I was like, I wasn't back working on the meat, and I was just able to eat, and it was like literally, I was like a pig rolling around in slop. Like I was just that happy. It was so gross. But not as gross as what you'll find in the bathroom at a Wendy's. I know you guys. And stop writing me. I'm never going to tell you. I can't. I mean, because I told you, right? And people don't want to know. They have no interest in it, right? I can't.
Yeah.
And you know what? Today, you're listening to this on Thanksgiving. Do you really want to go and see your family after hearing this story about what I found in the Wendy's bathroom? Of course you don't. You absolutely do not. And look, if I want Jodie Foster to ever come around and find me, I can't tell this fucking story. She's going to be like, oh my God, you saw that and you survived? Although maybe she thinks I'm tough because of it. Maybe I do it. Maybe I just go ahead and say what it was, because then Jodie Foster hears it and she goes, oh my God, you're really tough. And then she comes on board with me. That's it. You know what? I finally, all right, yeah, you know what? Everybody who's written me, brace yourselves, because you know what? It's Thanksgiving, and so give thanks, because I'm about to tell you a horrifying story, or at least an anecdote, or at least what I found. You know, I'll just call it that. It's not even a story or an anecdote. You know what I did? I was in Wendy's, and I went in the bathroom. You know what I found? I found... Literally, this show starts as a tiny snowball, and at the end, the hundreds are dead at the bottom of a ravine. I mean, I get that. Believe me, if there's any show in the history of the world that does not need to be transcribed for posterity, it's this one. I like when nobody can see the seams. I like when I'm able to kind of just, fly with the bees wherever. When I have to actually stop the bees and ask for directions, that's not fun. I just like unleashing the bees, but when the bees have to stop in mid-flight and we all have to kind of look at each other and bust out a fucking map, that's not fun at all. I want to saddle up these bees and ride, goddammit! I'm done.